I was here some Georgia communication minister at my Ghana. Now, young name so 1 week in incident see me play crasher a course so or bossing and important mono. Here are some George Kwaku din komobi na enkobono. Or say and mass asem ne esi ye no decision be a anka or yes say anka o taking no na ke be affect Ghana nyina. Ebuja sansa me papa ekokan ama Ghana fo bi mo ahyase reacted to nensem na okaye no ye the reactions are Ghana for reacted to a some particular na okaye no e de bro finish media now I was here some George Eddie and Sebia Babetu on air communication minister Eddie Moment Ghana now some George say Emma plane crash in AC you know Oyana say anka empokrano oba shati internet e my Ghana won say be ya internet ni enye adwuma na plane crash no na say helicopter crash no anka videos and then pictures no entimi enko viral na eno na omubusan say die nti na na opeso onye sa o che say emma sa asem ni see no ohwe the real internet ne so no amount for spreading news no bloggers and others no journalists na spreading news na ha ne pa nti woto no out of motions on yesanko take that decision no na empokra no washati internet no ewo oman Ghana mu asay say beyanka amamfo ntimi share videos and share pictures of a year incidents na esi ye no na ebuso owura some George ekokan sansem we no ewie ye no Ghana for ashase twabo no enya asem ketwa kra na yenkotie ensem a owura some George ekan ye ni bia ama Ghana for react to the comments na o make ye no.
People who I personally knew and had relationships with, and so it's extremely tough talking about them in the past. When it comes to the coverage, generally I would say that it's been a mixed bag for me. And let me say a very big thank you to the telecom companies, MTN, Telecel, and Airtel Tigo or AT Ghana. When the incident happened, I mean, I was distraught, but we still had a responsibility to the state. I got a call with the videos that started circulating. The unfortunate situation is most of them were circulating on WhatsApp. Yeah. And WhatsApp is a platform that is not controlled by any country. It's a private business. I was faced as Minister for Communications with two options. One was to shut down the internet in the country to prevent further spread of the videos. Because don't forget that at that time you had not had government officially complete communications with the families. Government had not made a formal communication. You had some of the kids who are old enough being online. I was worried about the mental health of those kids and the spouses, and such tragedy needs to be broken in a certain way. And I thought that the insensitivity, and so that was one option, to shut down, make a public announcement and say we're turning off the internet for a period to allow for calm to prevail and have a grip of everything before we allowed. But then that also would come with its own consequences. I mean, many of you stream the news. How do people get the news via stream and all of that? So you could have a ripple effect that would actually be worse than what you were trying to fix. And so we had to leave that intact and immediately reach out to, I had the cybersecurity authority immediately reach out to Meta and activate a POC that we had there to see what Meta could do, because Meta owns the WhatsApp platform. And then I started making personal calls to senior vice presidents that I knew at Meta to see what could be done. They assured me they were going to look into the matter. And then I reached out to the NCA and asked them to get in touch with all the CEOs. I personally placed calls to the 3 CEOs and said they should work with the NCA. We sent out about 30 million text messages within the space of 2 hours, and the telecom companies bore the cost for this. So all those messages that went out from the MOCDTI asking people to please exercise restraint, cost was borne by the telecom companies themselves as part of working with us too, and the NCA coordinated the blast of the messages across the country. I think that as a people we have an expectation of the media to inform us and to entertain us and educate us, and the media tried to play its role. Right now the media is dual streamed, social and traditional. I had cause to call a few traditional media house CEOs and say to them, can you please take off certain footage that was being shown? I'm sure that those who follow the early footage or reportage will realize that some of the videos that we complained about on social media, on WhatsApp, that were being circulated were actually streamed live by media houses. And I thought that was unfortunate. And I think that that's against the ethics of the profession. As journalists, you need to balance the breaking of news with the privacy of the victims of that news, especially when it has to do with grief. And so I think that there are lessons, critical lessons we have to learn from here. I think that the media did a good job of keeping the nation abreast, allowing us to communicate the steps as they went. You being our trusted allies and partners as we communicate to the country the steps that were being taken, the DNA tests that were being done outside, the service of memorial and reflections. I mean, you being our trusted allies, we couldn't have carried the nation along. The ceremonial guarding programs, and so we're extremely grateful to the media. However, I think that there are critical lessons we have to learn from here in the way that we some of the footage that was put out. I think that it's critical we learn. And the last point I'll just make is this is not far-fetched. We see from across the world several similar instances, and I dare challenge anybody in the media to show me an instance where, in the case of Kobe Bryant or the Access Bank CEO or recently Diogo Jota, it's not that the media in those countries didn't have access to footage from the crash sites or accident sites, but they had respect for the families, the kids, the wives, those who have lost the people. There's a certain sensitivity that I think needs to come back to our country, and so I think we'll work with the media on that.
Now, I was somewhere now, some George, communication minister, Edema, my Ghana, Eko Kanye. Now, after so I can't say, bueno, and a Ghana for Bimo, I shall say, a so simple panoswa, and ye asem Kitwakra. Now, we are going to reactions are Ghana for no react, and as a Ghana for Bimo, reacted to, or some George in the commenter or pass a year after said, or yes, Uncle Lucy, and as or Shatta, ye Ghana, ye internet in it down. Now, saying that it be Eka, about the day a year arise testcom. I say, is Ghana's internet your father's company? I know, and someone arise testcom. And so Eddie Baye, Sanso Emma Obinso Eddie Way, so Eddie Baye or say a no Yawa or say free because of a deceased minister's kid. You contemplate shutting down the internet. Again, you know the amount of money that would have been lost and cost to businesses. And no Yawa and so there, or also Eddie Baye. Now, where so Lucy Stonash, and also she said. Obolo way of thinking now obi so head in the by saying this is where the madness starts and also amount for reactions are omode buy and I'm making can be the amount now Johnson Mansa Salon and so say no day they pass without settings not just some judge also on the settings in and although now we also say he is telling lies. The internet wasn't shut down. I was able to share 500 videos. 500 videos. Sa Jimmy minister idea and Tronquan and any a trouble amount for a trouble a some Georgia. You don't want some at the amount. Now we also have a Prince Edu Sepoku was saying. Rubbish thinking. You think people use the internet only for social media? Do you know how many people use it for business purposes? Eno owura no enso dia ode baye. Na we so say nana ya kumi. I say hey Shatta, shut down the internet for what? And almost they need to buy. We so say St. George and Sense is like Ghana to the moon. You would say hey emuwa pa Ghana to the moon there. Now to say Oyerepa. When so say where your minister shia jimina and also adding it there by yen. But I must say, where do these people come from? Nkwasiya someone kwa and also adding it there by now Obra bakwa also some George say masa okay can it make it cancer some na nana kwame bochi. I say military had prepared an emergency rescue in place. They could have secured the place because, one, the military was the first to know the helicopter went off radar, not the media. Two, when they realized that for more than 2 hours, the helicopter could not be found on the radar, what was their response? The question number 2, no. I will be some minister. Question number 3. Even after they got to find out, they allow civilians to take charge of the rescue. And also the point number 3. If a whole defense minister do not have a backup for a rescue team to be dispatched, how much more you, the minister? Okay. Don't blame the media. They report what they see. They have no power. And union prince so they are on also a buyer. You don't want some a mauna and no comment amount for and answer reactions amount for but after say some judge minister for communication and this answer way to Jano and now amount for I reacted to name some na or kana any answer kitwa now when him say sound some AC some judges say after sound some within 2 hours no Oma ascended be 2 million messages within 2 hours. No man send 2 million messages at the among Ghanaians say or member bia and so and share videos and share pictures any idea our internet no eso and no and some kakra ora some judge and so e kan ya de hon sem e de ma Phoenix Media. Mess also subscribe to your YouTube channel na Facebook like video e de amame. Share ma foforo nya be hwe na fe fa comment bra e wo comment section. Yakra